Lewis Hart for the Ring magazine. Delighted today to be joined with the 2016 Ring magazine Fighter of the Year, Carl Frampton here in Manchester, head of Jack Catterall against Harlem Eubank. Yeah, an interesting fight tomorrow night at the Manchester Arena, but I'm sure it's one that you are looking forward to. But first thing first, how's things? How are you?
Things are good. Life's good at the minute. I haven't worked a show in I think 3 or 4 weeks now, so I'm looking forward to this one tomorrow night. And it's a good bill, and the top of the bill is a good fight as well.
How do you think, I guess, a fight plays out like this, where there's pressure on both fighters, but obviously more pressure on Jack when he is coming off of a defeat in the Barboza fight?
I think Jack has to win. He really has to win. It would be a travesty if Jack Catterall isn't able to call himself a world champion at the end of his career. Obviously, the majority of people thought that he'd beaten Josh Taylor, and probably should have been a unified champion or an undisputed champion, but he has to win this fight. It would be difficult to come back and put himself into contention for world titles with a Barboza and a Eubank defeat back to back. So he has to win it. I don't think Harlem's in the same situation where maybe he doesn't have that pressure on him, but I think we're going to see a new Jack Catterall, a new version of him, a reinvigorated version. I think one of the criticisms you could throw at Jack is he maybe doesn't go through the gears. I think maybe some of that was down to the weight. I've seen him in the gym and seen what he does as a sparring partner, big guys, but I haven't seen that replicated on fight night. So maybe the new weight division, I'm going to see it.
Do you feel like, even as I guess as a pundit and and working on the broadcast, for yourself, where you obviously spent years with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis, when you do see their fighters, you always have like that soft spot for them, would you say?
I mean, I train with Jack as well.
Yeah.
You do, of course. It's just human nature, isn't it? And I love Jamie and Nigel, and I mean, me and Jack are friends, so obviously you want them to win, but as a pundit, you have to have you have to be unbiased, and you have to say what you see and call the fight how you see it. But I think that Jack is the favourite in the fight. I genuinely do. But I think that Harlem Eubank's a better fighter than people think. He looked incredible on the scales, by the way, like in serious shape. I think it's a good fight, competitive fight, but I just favour Jack in it.
I guess when you do compare styles as well, I think the consensus is that it may not, like, is there an onus, I guess, for both fighters to try and make the fight entertaining, I guess? Because, I mean, the common sense around sort of both their styles is that they may not gel together nicely.
No, they're not the most aggressive fighters. I think Harlem is probably a little bit more aggressive in his approach than Jack is. If Harlem wants to stand off and try and counterbox Jack, I don't think it's going to work for him. I think he's going to have to be aggressive to have success, but in the same breath, then that may suit Jack. So it's difficult to see what their tactics are going to be, but I have a fair, without asking Jamie or Nigel, I have a fair idea what Jack's tactics are going to be. But we'll see tomorrow night. I do think it's going to be competitive. There'll be a lot of close rounds, but I just favour Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly moving on from that, actually, I wanted to ask you, obviously, the Ring have got their show next week, Hamza Sheeraz against Berlanga. What are you thinking, I guess, for that fight in New York?
It's a really good fight. I think the link-up, Hamza and Andy Lee, is really important for this one. I think Berlanga's a good fighter, but I wouldn't say he's world-class, if I'm being honest. And I know he done reasonably well against Canelo, but I don't think Canelo's the fighter that he once was either. Berlanga's obviously a lot bigger than Canelo too. I think if Hamza Shiraz is anything close to his best, he'll win convincingly. And I think if you look at Hamza's levers and how he fights, he's very good on the inside for such a tall, skinny guy. I think sometimes he allows people to get too close to him and neglects using his levers. Andy Lee was amazing at that. Like, his knockout reel, his KO knockout reel is incredible for hitting guys at length. So I think it's a good link up, and I think he's going to be very important on the night.
Before I do let you go as well, I wanted to ask you, obviously, last week we saw the announcement of Conor, Benn and Eubank Jr too. Early doors for that rematch. I guess what are you thinking, I guess, with also being on the same terms as well with the weight and the rehydration? It was a big thing in the first fight.
Yeah, I mean the first fight was amazing, so as a boxing fan you'd like to see it again, but I'm just not that. I think it's a fight like the first one takes, even though he won, takes more out of Chris Eubank at this stage and the age that he's at in his career than it does out of Conor Benn. And Conor should be proud of that performance as well. He put it up to a bigger man and it was reasonably close, but I do think that Chris won. But I just don't like the rehydration clause. I never have.
Yeah.
And as you get older, it becomes increasingly harder for you to make the weight. So we all know it's a struggle for Eubank to make 160. He's going to struggle again to make 160, and I don't know. I would like to see the fight because the first one was a spectacle and it was great. But
is there a case, I guess, with the first fight, like everything was perfect for that? Like, how do you replicate that again?
Well, that's it. I don't know. I mean, it was the dad showing up at the last minute, and even the issues with the Christmas and the weight and the egg and everything else. I'm sure they'll have something up their sleeves, but I mean, the thing about the build-up and the fight that was appealing to me the most was the fight. The fight was amazing, and if we see something like that, I'd be happy to see it again.
Good stuff, Carl. I know you've done a few interviews, so I'll let you go, but appreciate the time as always. I know, won't be too long to catch up again. Top man.